I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon.
Alright guys, this is another building I want to show you guys. Built in 1920, nice red brick. Interesting thing about this, obviously street, lot of access for renters. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Great opportunity because it's got the 6 parking spots and it's set up as a duplex currently with the basement that's unfinished. So for the opportunity to add value, you get the whole basement to add and you have the parking. It's around $250 a square foot. They are holding offers. I think with the way the market is going for something like this, we're going to have to offer over. We're going to have to over probably, you know, go into the 130% of asking. Prime location. You will never have a vacancy problem at this location, and it's built well. You know, it's got some decent bones.
Built well?
All right, well, let's check it out. Check it out.
Yeah, there we go.
Amazing.
That's just,
all right. Let's go in. Let's go in.
I want a discount.
Okay,
again.
so there's a door here. There's a door here. Is there another back entrance as well? I think there is, right? So, okay, that's good. So let's see if we can, how many units we can make out of this. All right, let's go in and check it out.
Oh, it looks like a nice building.
I haven't seen this for a couple weeks myself. It's been a couple weeks.
Right, so the main hallway.
All right.
Stairs on this
So
side.
we got stairs here. So it's upstairs.
So how many units are we doing here?
3.
Basement, main, second?
No, basements. We're not touching the basement. So you're entering unit 1. A little bit of a different reno here. So we're not taking this down to.
Go in the bathroom and tell me.
We're not taking this down to the walls.
Something very weird in the bathroom.
No, it's finished already.
Oh, you finished it?
Yeah, it's already done.
Oh, you ruined the surprise.
It's already done.
All steel. Oh, this is nice, actually.
Hey, how's it going?
That's Shane, guys.
This is new. They just did the time.
That's Shane.
Oh, the kitchen's going in here.
Yeah. So this is the kitchen.
So which door are they going to enter from? This one, right? And then
They have actually
both
they have
options?
3 entrances here. So they have the back door here, and they have kind of 2 entrances at the front
Oh,
there.
that's right, that side one.
But this is this will be the kitchen. We really didn't change anything here. Like everything is existing. We didn't change any plumbing locations. So this is from a renovation standpoint, this is what I call a re-and-re, where we're just kind of like removing cabinetry, replacing the cabinetry. We remove the floor, replace the floor. All new baseboards, all new casings, new doors. But you can see from, actually not out here, but more from in here, you can see we still kind of left the old textured ceilings. They will be sprayed, so they'll look a lot cleaner than they do now. We added the required interconnected smoke detector. That's a 3-in-1. So your smoke,
Yeah,
strobe,
nice.
carbon. We'll change the lights out, but this is a really simple reno.
We're gonna rent it out. Make
You're
some
gonna
more
furnish this
extra
one?
cash flow. I'm gonna furnish it. We're gonna furnish this one. I think it's a good location.
Yeah.
Yeah, like furnish it and rent it out on the midterm market.
That's 2 bedrooms.
cash
Here, I'll
flow.
show you guys the bedrooms. Hey, Caston. This is Caston, best tile guy. I don't know, Caston, you want to name your company? JC Tiles Installations Inc. So I've been working with Caston for, oh man, how long? 5 years or so? Oh, 5 years or so. So
Looking good, man. I like it.
great guy. Just to give you an idea on how fast Caston is, if we get a shot of this, but Caston started today. I don't know, maybe at about, what time, Caston? 10 o'clock? And 1 bathroom's already done. So super fast.
Yeah.
I want a discount though, eh?
I'd say the big difference between working with a real estate lawyer and one that is specifically working with real estate investors, and we're kind of the only law firm that I know that uses the phrase real estate investor lawyer. It's sort of our trademark. But working with a lawyer that's familiar with real estate investors and the different strategies and projects and opportunities is really no different than, you know, working with a lawyer that does incorporations versus a lawyer that does mergers and acquisitions. They're similar in the sense that, yes, a real estate investor lawyer knows real estate, but they also understand and appreciate the more specific details of what investors are doing out there in the market and specific investor like terminology, investor contracts and agreements, investor problems and solutions, right? Just like the corporate lawyer who does incorporations, so could the mergers and acquisitions lawyer do incorporations, but the corporate lawyer might not have the same understanding or comfort level working on mergers and acquisitions. And so that's kind of the same between real estate lawyer and real estate investor lawyer. The real estate investor lawyer is much more comfortable dealing with investor specific problems and solutions and documents than maybe the regular real estate lawyer. And also, as real estate investor lawyers, we're investors too. So we're actually like going through the same things our investor clients are, because we're actually investing too.
There's lots of things that we learn as real estate investors. There's lots of mistakes that we make along the way. We're still making mistakes, and so we'll go the other way around to start. You know, what is a mistake that you made that maybe you can share with our viewers that they could avoid potentially out of your, you know, last few years of investing in real estate?
Definitely having the right team, the right power team in place, just to be able to set yourself up for success. Because if you don't have the right team in place, you can actually make a lot of mistakes. So that is the biggest lesson learned for sure.
Absolutely, team is super important. Lee, what about you? Biggest mistake?
So probably the biggest mistake I made, and I think all investors will relate to this, is not starting earlier in the game, and then not building a construction team sooner to work on all the projects as I was scaling up.
Yeah, my biggest mistake, like I make mistakes on a daily basis around here, so it's pretty normal for me to be making mistakes. But I would say it's nothing like, not a major mistake, but a lot of micro mistakes on a daily basis. So, you know, it could be anything from misinterpreting a zoning bylaw, which caused me grief later on in the permitting process. Could be not ordering appliances soon enough, you know, not ordering windows soon enough, forgetting about that water line upgrade, forgetting to contact hydro for a hydro upgrade, and forgetting to order a property survey. All of this stuff leads to delays on projects. And, you know, I've learned a lot through the years about how to kind of get on top of this stuff so that we don't see delays later on in the process. So just, I guess it goes back to planning, proper planning. Yeah.
Absolutely. I like the micro mistake analogy. What about you?
Yeah, I think planning in a way, but mine will be the other way in terms of planning your portfolio. So I think for me, had we sat down in advance and planned the properties we were going to buy and leverage on each other, we would have scaled faster. Instead, we looked at one property, got it, sat with it, dwelled on it, and then we didn't make that plan to use that to leverage the next property. We're just sort of waiting and looking and mulling. I think had we sat down and made a 5-year plan, it would have been easier to leverage and rebuy and leverage and rebuy, and then have a larger portfolio at a faster pace. So I think that's one of the mistakes that I regret making.
Yeah. As you can see, lots of mistakes, but I do agree with the micro mistakes, and also real estate can be very forgiving over time, right? I mean, we've made $20,000 mistakes by figuring out down the road, once we had something, that there was vermiculite asbestos and black mold in an attic, and we could have negotiated on that. But, you know, again, in the long grand scheme of things, that $236,000 property is like $600,000 now. So it's, you know, these mistakes can be mitigated. But ultimately, I think for me, it was not having fun along the way, and it was just the go and go and the grind and the grind. And I think it's important to step back and enjoy our lifestyle, which I think we're all doing now, but you can still do it as you're still working full time, make a little bit of time for yourself, have that work-life balance so that you don't burn out, and you enjoy yourself along the way, and your friends and your family, and that you've got the lifestyle. All right, so we're going to talk to you guys about an order to comply. Lee is going to give you some more insight, but it happens, right? Where sometimes people do things without permits. So when we bought this, there was a deck that was done without permits. Now we've got to work on closing it. So Lee, give us some more insights on that.
What happens sometimes when you buy a property, if there is existing construction, let's say that was done without a permit, the city, sometimes they'll see the change of ownership, and they'll come by and they'll post what's called an order to comply. So we didn't know that when we bought this house. However, this order to comply is for a deck that was built at the back. So it's pretty straightforward. I'll kind of walk you guys through it.
Let's go see it. Just watch your step.
We have to get drawings done, both engineering drawings, structural drawings, architectural drawings, for this kind of monster of a deck, as well as the egress here. So
this was built without a permit?
Without a permit.
Okay.
So it looks like, we didn't do the construction on this, so we don't know. We'll have an engineer come, verify that this sonotubed in properly. It's got to be at 50 inches. It looks like it was built properly. There are a couple things that structurally wise will have to be changed on it, but if you guys want to do a quick walk upstairs,
like, it looks half decent. So this would have to be 42 inches too.
Yes.
Yeah. So
what they want to see is they want to see vertical posts, as well as you can see the wiggle here. This is not going to be into code.
So new railings.
We don't meet the heights. I don't know what that is.
So you need all new handrails here.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a run and a rise, and that's not going to meet the code either. We got too short, and then it's too tall in between, so that'll have to be fixed up and adjusted. A couple other small things, like all of this has to be doubled up. That'll have to be doubled up. I think that's about it. We'll probably have to fix something with the railing over here, but not that bad. It's actually, yeah, it's not that bad. So Ken will get some drawings done. We'll get it over to the engineer. Yeah. Get the engineer to come by, have a look, and he'll have us. He'll either sign off on it or he'll ask us to fix a few things. We'll call the city. The city will come, building inspector. We'll walk through the property, specifically this area with them. And as long as we're to building code, they'll sign off, close the permits, the order to comply goes away.
So there's lots of ways to finance. I know, there's lots of private money out there. There's A lenders, B lenders. But walk us through how the financing works for something that is maybe just ugly and dated, but still livable.
Yeah, so the keyword is livable. When I first saw this, it was livable, it was ugly. You guys have made quite a bit of progress on it so far, but because it was livable and you guys qualify for an A mortgage, we're able to get 80% of the appraised value at a 30-year AM. And because I knew you're going into this with the intention to renovate and increase value, we took the variable rate, obviously. So once the project is complete, we're gonna reappraise this property at the expected higher value. And the variable rate is gonna serve you well, because when you break it to make it a bigger mortgage, the penalty is always a 3 months interest. But ideally, what we would do is we would keep the mortgage, and we would get you like a top up for a new, smaller mortgage. That's the structure for this one.
Okay, all right, that's good. I mean, closing with A type of lenders or even B lenders is a lot cheaper than going with a private money route if something is livable and you can close that way.
Yeah.
And then in terms of refinancing for the BRRRR strategy, which essentially is what this is, variable is the way to go.
100%.
Even though the rates are increasing, that's still what you're going to let other investors, suggest to other investors?
Yeah, for those who are using the burst strategy, variable gives you the flexibility to exit the deal when the time comes. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck with a fixed rate mortgage and pay a high penalty to switch. And if you take a fixed on a BRRRR, yes, you can technically go back to the lender, but if they change their guidelines, you'll have to go somewhere else and pay a big penalty. So variable is the way to go to give you that flexibility and more options at the time of exit.
And I also think it's important that, we have discussions, and Dalia and I do quite often, about how long the renos are going to take. Because in this case, we're going to be in and out fairly quickly, like 3-4 months, and we are done. And not all lenders want to refinance in that short amount of time, or is that a myth?
That's a great point. Some lenders will refinance at the higher value 6 months later, if not a year later. So going into this deal, we talked about this, and we placed the deal with a lender that we know we can go back and pull the money out right after you guys are done.
And that's why we love the BRRRR strategy, so that we can recycle our money rather than sink it into a deal. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but in order to scale, which is essentially what we're doing here, we want to pull out and refinance that cash. So thank you for all your help.
My pleasure. Good luck.
Well, other services that we like to suggest to our real estate clients, whether they're investors or not, but I mean, definitely more specific to the investor clients, because there just are kind of a handful of auxiliary services that they should probably take advantage of in utilizing us as their legal counsel. But, if you buy a house or a property, or you're acquiring a portfolio of properties and you don't already have a will and powers of attorney in place, you should. And so we do a lot of estate planning work as well, working on wills, powers of attorney for the real estate investors or our clients who own businesses or corporations. They should have a corporate will. And then also, depending on tax advice and financial advice that they're receiving, a family trust might be actually quite applicable and a good savings for them, from a standpoint of asset management, asset transition, tax savings, and so forth. So we do, on top of real estate and real estate investor work, we do estate planning work, which coincides nicely with the real estate clients and the investors. But also, a lot of the investors need help with drafting up joint venture agreements, doing incorporations, corporate documents like shareholder agreements. So we work quite a bit with the investor clients on those services as well. So the one client typically ends up having 2 or 3 areas of work that we help them with.
From a multifamily perspective, what is the process when using CMHC?
So CMHC is a great tool that is available to you as an investor, because you get extended amortizations. Under the regular multifamily program, you can get up to 40-year amortization. You can get up to 85% of the CMHC value, and the rates are generally about 1% lower compared to traditional financing on a multifamily building. Having said that, CMHC's process is longer. It takes 2 to 3 months sometimes to approve a deal, compared to weeks approving it with a traditional lender. And they only offer 5 or 10-year terms. So it's best to go to CMHC when, one, you've stabilized the income on a building. So when you have reached the maximum or close to maximum rental increase point and stabilize the income, you can go and lock in with CMHC. And when you have time on your side, these would be the 2 cases.
What is the biggest mistake you see real estate investors making when trying to scale their portfolio?
I see a few mistakes. One key mistake is the lack of planning. Investors sometimes are excited about deals, they want to jump on deals, and I get it. But if you find a deal and you haven't planned where the money is going to come from and how you're going to structure it and who's going to be on the deal, then you're really going about financing in a random way, and you're throwing the spaghetti on the wall and you're hoping that it sticks. So When you plan, however, you can be a lot more relaxed about growing your portfolio because you know how things are going to fall in place, number one. And number two, you'll get better financing by planning it out than trying to piecemeal each deal and figure it out on the spot. So that's one big mistake. The second mistake is not thinking about exit when entering the deal, especially when using private money. Private money is in abundance. And investors sometimes love private money because they jump on deals faster, they can move a lot faster. But if you haven't talked to your broker about how you're going to pay this private money back, you may run into surprises later that you're not going to be happy about. So that's the second one. It's easy to enter the deal. It's more, I guess, important to exit that deal.
So we have a lot of people breaking into this building. They're probably getting in from one of the 200 windows that are in this place. And they're basically, what they're doing is they're peeling back a lot of the cable, a lot of the wire, a lot of the plumbing, a lot of the tin, the metal for salvage. They take it and they sell it. So we don't care too much. They're actually helping us out because we have to get rid of it all anyways. But they'll...
This was here before.
No, this was, it wasn't, no. But when we start working here, they typically don't come back. They're pretty harmless.
Anything like you see here, like there's bricks stacked up.
That's definitely how they're climbing through.
Like,
then.
let's take it down and we'll see if we come back. If
you want to do brick tossing so you can throw it further?
You'd win.
No debate there, no debate.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I've been running from the law.